Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm having more technical difficulties, but you all know what? It's going to be okay.
There we are.
Y'all. Yeah, we are all here. This is Robert and Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast, and we're doing a very special show tonight. We have Miss Carol Williams from Animal Rescue Alliance, and we've been featuring a pet of the week from them. We also have some people here that have actually adopted pets from Animal Rescue Alliance Incorporated, and these are some long distance adopters here. So before we get going, Miss Carol, tell us a little bit about the Animal Alliance Rescue Center.
Well, it was started about 4 years ago, and I'm originally from Miami. My husband is from this area, Donalsonville. It's located in the southwest corner of the state of Georgia, and I've been coming here, for years and years on holidays. I was a teacher for 26 years, so we always came here on school holidays and summers and that type of thing. And I noticed a long time ago that there was just a void in this area for animal care. There's no animal control. There wasn't a humane society. There was just nothing. And you see these stray animals. And, for someone like me from a big city, I just, kept asking, well, why don't they have something? Like, they ought to have something. And then when I retired from teaching early, when my kids, last one graduated from high school, and we moved here permanently. And, I still was asking, you'd see these stray animals and, nothing would be done with them. And you would call on, they didn't have an answer. So I ended up going to our local government and started attending the county commission meetings and petitioning them to put money aside for a shelter. And that went on for a long time. They were very tired of seeing me show up at commission meetings. And eventually it was obvious that there was not going to be funding and I needed to do something else. And I started asking around, and somebody said, you should contact this lady. She's got a bunch of land. She has financial means and animal supporter, and you should see if maybe she would donate some land. And so long story short, not only did she do that, she said, I really am committed to this, and I want to find you a building, get you started, and then I don't want anything to do with running it. I just want to get you off the ground and get you where you're self-sufficient, and you make all the decisions. So together, we actually separately went and checked the other person out. I said, "Is this woman for real?" And then she was asking around and said, is Carol, normal? It's a good thing she asked the right people, because they said it was. But so it ended up that she found a vacant vet building and had it renovated for us and put some money in the bank and got us really off the ground. And true to her word, she does not want anything to do with running it. And so, I started pursuing all of the legal paperwork and the fundraising and getting a board together and, just the nuts and bolts of getting a shelter off the ground. And I think that it is, there's a lot of divine intervention going on, because for this to have actually happened, this was just something in my heart. I really wanted this thing to work, and it did. And the chances that, she and I would come together as business partners on this, and, we each had something to contribute, and it made this really amazing shelter. So it's been 4 years that started. It's actually been open to the public. September is going to be our 2-year anniversary. And I think I have to look at the numbers. We keep it up on the board in the shelter lobby, but we've taken in I don't know, I think we're around 700 animals maybe. And we don't euthanize for space, which is significant because I'm finding out, as I go in this process, I'm learning a lot about other facilities, and um, there are some in the area that have municipal contracts with cities and counties, and they're obligated to take in any animals that they bring them. And when the directors tell them, well, we don't have room for those 4 dogs that you're bringing, the answer is, well, euthanize those 4, and now you do have room. And they're bound by that contract. So we kind of have an unusual situation with our shelter because we're private, we're not funded by anybody. So it's tricky because we don't have municipal funding, and I walk around with my hand out all the time. People in town avoid me when they see me coming because they know I'm going to be asking for something. But we also, I can look at myself in the mirror and know I didn't put somebody down to make space for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win for me.
Yes, ma'am. And it's a wonderful work that you're doing. And I've been by there. It's amazing. I had a ball. I'm a cat person. I'm gonna tell you something. Getting those kittens climbing all over you, it was amazing. I
It's
enjoyed
very
it.
therapeutic, and I'm surprised the girls didn't tuck one, in your bag before you left.
They tried. They tried, and I explained to them I have 4 already. And one
Well,
more, I become a crazy cat guy, and I can't become that because David will never let me live it down.
well, I have 50 acres here, and I have 6 dogs right now, and I have 21 cats.
Wow.
And
Wow.
everybody's fixed. I have a lot of other animals. It would take too long to name them all, but my husband works out of town every week. He's home a week, gone a week. And he said, if I drove in through the gate and there was a giraffe in the front yard, I wouldn't even look twice. So,
Another popular pet around here are llamas.
yeah, no, I don't do llamas. No,
No llamas.
no,
Okay.
they bite, they spit, and they're taller than me. So, no.
Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Stephanie, let's start with you there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your little buddies there,
Um,
and how you came about getting them, and let's hear this story. This is number one. Tell us where you're from.
I am in a suburb of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Okay.
I currently have 5 cats, and I had 4 before we took our little pilgrimage down to Georgia and brought Agnes home. I saw her on Twitter for National Black Cat Day, and the post literally made me cry. Because it was, here's our sweet granny cat, and she totally lives up to her name, super affectionate, very easygoing, but also, we'll give you the what for and take her finger at you when she's not happy. And she had 0 views.
That's this little cutie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is little. But yeah, she had 0 views on the Pet Finder website, and she just struck a chord with me. And I knew that I have a house with an in-law suite, and my mom had 2 cats, and she had about 6 months prior lost a cat and started talking about she wanted to get a companion for her older cat. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can bring another one into my side of the house, but I could go get her, and I could bring her up for my mom.
Yeah.
So I contacted another person who we all know, who goes by Avery Banks on Twitter, and I was like, how do I even go about doing this? And put in an inquiry with them on the website and this application, and then after a little bit of back and forth and some emails not going through, because this was only beginning of November, because that was the end of October that I had first seen Agnes. And I get this phone call from Karen, and we must have had, I want to say it was almost an hour and a half conversation. And Carol was telling me everything that she just told you about the startup of the facility and just how committed she was and what she had going on in her own household with all those animals on her property and everything like that. And I was nervous as all get out, just absolutely nervous, because I'm like, okay, I'm talking to the lady who could make or break this actually possibly happening. And I don't want her to think I'm crazy because I'm in Pennsylvania and I really want this cat and I want to bring it up here. And everything worked out. And then we, shortly before Thanksgiving in November, and it'll be 2 years this coming November that we've had Agnes up here, made arrangements to go pick her up. I never actually went to the shelter. The lady on Twitter was kind enough to ferry her 3 hours for me from Southwest Georgia. And we met her in Atlanta, did a handoff, and off we went. And this was, when I say pilgrimage, it was literally a round trip. My husband, my youngest daughter, and I took all the cat supplies in the car and drove all the way down, got Agnes, went all the way back through. We made a pit stop in Atlanta to go visit because we'd never actually visited. A wedding gift was a brick in Olympic Park. So we took Agnes in the carrier and visited the brick at the park, and then got back, filled up, got gas, and got back on the road. And I brought her here, and I told my mother this grandiose lie about what we were doing and why we disappeared for more than 24 hours, kind of a thing. Had snacks on the road, didn't stop in a hotel overnight and everything. Brought her back, and she was surprised that I brought this cat up, and she wasn't sure if she was ready to commit to having another cat, but I think mainly because she actually wanted to pick out her own cat. And I assured Carol, I was like, don't worry, she will be loved. She will never be abandoned. And she was here acclimating in a room by herself with only intermittent contact with the other 4 cats. And she changed everybody's lives because I had 2 older boys. And then I had adopted a mom and her 1 surviving baby in August of 2022. And there was a little friction between the 2 groups. And Agnes came in like, honest to goodness, Mary Poppins. And she just restored balance in the force. And everybody got along. And I was like, oh dear, now what do I do? Because I'm really falling in love with her, like a lot. And she's really good at it. And my mom said, how long do I have to decide? And I said, this was Wednesday. And I said, you have till Friday. Till Friday. Because I'm already falling in love with her. And if you can't make up your mind by then and you can't be impressed with her perfectness. And it's a really good thing. She was like, well, it was really lovely and it was a really sweet gesture. And she said no. And I was like, I couldn't even tell you how much more I wanted to will you just to say no. Like, you could have said no to me and I would have been fine with it and we would have just carried on. But she's just a perfect petite little princess. She's never getting any bigger. She's tiny, 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 tiny.
Wow.
She only weighs like 7 pounds. And she runs the house. She's
Of
the
course.
top cat.
Cats have a tendency to do that.
She's the youngest one of the bunch. And now the baby from the mom, she is only about a month older than her. And the 2 of them get along really well and they play really well, but they also act like they're sisters. So when one bothers the other one at the inopportune time, it's okay, sorry, bye. And her mom kind of like watches over her, like, and she's also a Black Panther too, so it's very cute when I get my 2 little panthers. I get the average size panther and the little bitty baby panther, and they perch above each other. It's really adorable. But yeah.
Wow, that is amazing, and thank you for sharing that with it. Because Miss Carol, if I understand right, you don't have that many local people that pick up animals there or pets.
I was very surprised at that. The amount of people that adopt from our just immediate area is very low. We're an hour from Dothan. We're an hour from Tallahassee and an hour from Thomasville. We're right down in the corner, where all the states meet. And we get people from Tallahassee, from St. Augustine, from, Dothan, Atlanta. And locally, I'm not sure exactly I was just talking with someone on our board about that not 2 hours ago. We were discussing why, and they were saying, well, maybe, it's the price. And I say it could be. I was considering maybe we're talking about looking at if people have a local ID, like for either Miller or Seminole County, which are the two counties we serve, to give them a discounted rate. Because I think like we were saying, it's just the demographics. It's just a very rural, it's just not a high income area, honestly. There's, the primary business here is farming, and putting money into an animal is really not a big priority around here. Putting food on the table, that's just not a thing. And we saw, I guess, over the last year, so many animals thrown off on the side of the road. And it really seems like it's just people are struggling to just keep their families together and fed and medical care and everything else. And, an animal's on the priority list, which is really a shame. But, we have people that come from outside the area to adopt, and they look at our pricing and just go, yeah, it's nothing. Like, this is a great rate.
Yeah.
So it's all relative, I guess.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot of that in this area too. Pets aren't the high priority that they are in other areas, and that some people are like that, but not all of them. I'm just up the road from you, and I promise you, I love my kitty cats.
Yeah. Well, I do too, and I'm constantly taking my own pets to the vet. I mean, I can pretty much handle most stuff that's not real major. I just kind of treat them myself, but some things I have to take them in, and it's just, my husband just rolls his eyes. Going to the vet again? Yep, going to the vet again. So
I tell you what, let's say hi to Miss Chris and Mr. John right here. How are
Hello.
y'all?
We're
Doing
doing great.
well.
Thank you for having us.
Y'all tell us a little bit about yourselves and where you're from, and who you picked up here, or who you found.
Go ahead.
Well, sure. So I'm John. I am originally from Ireland. I've been living in the States over 20 years now. I'm married to the wonderful Chris, and we found, thanks to the Animal Rescue Alliance, we found Molly.
So yeah, there she is. A similar story to Stephanie. I followed Avery Banks online for Twitter, and we had adopted two brother tuxedo cats in January 21. And then John's students, we're both faculty members at Georgia State. John's students found a dog that was wandering around a Bojangles in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And John met the dog and fell in love and sent me photos, and we adopted him in May of 2021. And so we had this cute little family, and we were, feeling really good. And I was obsessed with finding another animal, and saw actually Molly's name at the time was Posey at Animal Rescue Alliance through Avery's Twitter. And I was like, oh my goodness, like after looking at probably thousands and thousands of animals, I'm like, we have to go visit. So I reached out and scheduled a time to go down, but we're in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's a 3.5 hour ride.
Yes.
And so bless their hearts, they opened up the shelter for us on a Saturday because we couldn't get down there during the week. I told John we're going to go down to this shelter to meet Posey. And John said, we're not getting another animal, are we? I was like, no. We're going to just put Bo in the car, and Bo's going to go meet this dog. And if Bo likes this dog, we're going to have a conversation about this, because we were told Bo needed a friend by our boarder. So John's like, okay. We jumped in the truck with Bo in the back seat and drove 3.5 hours to meet Posey. And for Bo, it was love at first sight. So
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to give you my perspective on the story. Right? So let's go back just a little bit here. So yes, we got Bo, our first dog, and that was a classic case of my students at Georgia State sabotaging me. They thought, here's our stressed out professor. We know what he needs. He needs a dog to just calm him down. And so they saw me coming a mile away, and I walked into it, and we fell in love with Bo, of course, and it was wonderful. And he has, for all of his occasional naughtiness, he has completely changed my life and our lives. So when the idea of a second dog and expanding our family came out, my immediate reaction was, why do we need to mess with perfection? We have 2 cats, we have a dog, everyone is getting along fine. Let's not throw a grenade in the room and just risk all of that. But Chris is I like to say that Chris is being radicalized by all of the cat and dog photos she looks at on Twitter. And she talked to me about the Animal Rescue Alliance long before we eventually made the decision to reach out and go down there. But Chris will look at hundreds and hundreds of pictures and say, oh, isn't this dog cute, or isn't this cat cute? But the picture of Posey, now Molly, she just kept coming back to it time and time again. And the discussion that we started to have was, well, this isn't just a cute dog, but Bo could do with a sibling, and it would be better for Bo and better for us. And of course, I eventually got talked into it because I didn't, learn my lesson the first time. But when we went to ARA, I mean, I'll never forget the day, and it was just over 2 years.
Oh, it'll be 2 years in October.
Almost 2 years.
Wow.
It was, I have 2 very distinct impressions from the day. I mean, the first was meeting Molly and the fact that we had Bo with us, and they bonded immediately. So that was a huge relief to us. We thought, okay, these 2 guys get on, so that's the biggest hurdle. But the second part of it, of course, was meeting Carol and her staff at ARA. And I don't know about you, but when I heard Animal Rescue Alliance, I had this image of 60 people all walking around with white coats and clipboards, looking at all these animals. And it was on the day, it was Carol and one other person. And I was just, I remember being stunned at so few people doing such amazing work. And so, it was an opportunity not just for Carol to get to know us and suss us out and find out if we were responsible people who could take on the additional responsibility of a second animal. But it was an extraordinary chance for us to see the amazing work that they were doing down there. And we've been huge advocates for them ever since. We tell everybody we know about the work that ARA does. There are occasional fleeting conversations about us going down again. But Carol, it's been too long. We need to come down just to say hi. But we need to also make some very informed decisions. But the work that ARA does, I mean, is just, to say that it's inspiring is an understatement. And and animal lovers, will all know these commercials that we see on TV. We can hear the commercials before we see them, but and people, I think, have 2 reactions. They either look at the commercials or they just want to change the channel and not look at them at all. But to go to ARA in person and see the work that's being done, it's truly transformative, and we just try to help and support them in every way that we can.
Yeah, it was. So John was not interested in another dog. We're inside, and he's like, where's the paperwork? How can I sign? And then decided to give a very nice donation to Carol, based on just our interactions with the staff and with Carol. And we've been donating ever since. So I think we, wish we were closer so we could do more fostering and different types of things, and we're not. And so, we give monthly, we give at the end of the year, we send food, we try to do as much as we can to help support in other ways because we can't physically be there. One of my colleagues adopted a dog from Carol. When we got married last year, one of our wedding presents was a donation to ARA by one of my friends who knows how much I support ARA. So, we wish we could do more, and we just, are so committed to the work that they do.
And we're both, as Chris says, we're both professors at Georgia State here in Atlanta, so we understand the value of education. And what ARA does isn't just about taking in animals and helping them live and hopefully get rehomed and put into loving families, but just educating communities near and far about the just the basics of the importance of neutering and spaying. I mean, it's so critical.
Yeah,
it really is.
I was actually telling our host before we actually started the filming that I said, "Oh, what a day!" And he said, "Yeah, me too." And I said, "Well, I was at the shelter at 6 a.m. loading up 6 cats and 3 dogs and driving to Thomasville and getting them spayed and neutered, and then going back and picking them up and bringing them back because we're doing that privately for owners. And we've been looking for ways to be a little more self-sustaining, and we started carrying animals to Thomasville to a neuter clinic, and we charge the owners what they charge us, and then we add a little bit over it. And by doing that, it lets us pay for our own animals to be spayed and neutered, like 1 or 2 at a time.
Wow.
So it's a huge help to the community because what we charge is less than half of what they would pay at a private vet. And then for us, we're getting our own animals spayed and neutered, and it's just a huge, huge help.
Yes. Ms. Carol, what's the web address so people can do donations?
It is aralliancega.com. So the name of the facility is Animal Rescue Alliance. Just say aralliancega.com.
Okay. I'm going to give me just a second here. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Next week, you've got a very special thing going on for this area, Empty the Shelters.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
The shelters is we're partnering with the Bissell Foundation. They do a national event, and we're very excited to be. This is our first time really partnering with a big corporation like this, and it's across the country that shelters are participating. And what happens is they ask us to only charge no more than $50 per animal for the adoption, and they will match that $50 to. The only stipulation is that the animals have to be spayed and neutered and microchipped, and we do that anyway. So that's not a big deal. We're trying very hard to send more of our dogs home. We have 20 kennels, and right now we have 21 dogs.
Oh, wow.
And what we're hoping to do as a long-term goal, like to become more self-sustaining, because that was the original agreement with our prime minister, is that she wanted us after a couple of years to be able to, fund ourselves. So one of the ways we do that is by doing private boarding for people. Mm-hmm. And we have 2 kennel buildings. One holds 12 dogs and one holds 8. And the state says that if we do private boarding, it has to be separated from shelter dogs. Mm-hmm. So if we get down to 12 dogs and, get them adopted and keep that number consistent, we can use the other building for private boarding. And now we have a way to actually generate our own income.
Right. That's awesome.
Amazing. So all you people out here in Miller County, Seminole County, Early County, Decatur County, I could keep going. Y'all, come on now. If y'all needing a dog or a cat, you're wanting a pet for your home, someone to bring into your home and make a part of your family, these are the people to go see. These animals are available. They're well taken care of. They're spayed, they're neutered, they've got all their shots. They've been treated for flea treatments. Everything that you would have a responsible owner would want to do for their pet at the vets is already taken care of. And this week coming up, it's $50. And that includes microchipping as well, does it not?
Yes, sir.
And that's, I mean, for $50, I mean, come on, you're not going to beat that. And there's no way. And I know times are kind of hard, but it's hard on animals too. And I'm going to tell you, it's an enrichment to your family and to your life to have these pets. I mean, you just don't realize how much it brings into your life.
Yes.
So, y'all come on. I mean, if you absolutely don't have room for a pet, go by and support them. You know, I mean, donations are accepted. You can go to their website. You can go buy. I'm sure there's supplies and stuff that y'all are in need of too. Is there not?
We absolutely go through paper towels and trash bags and primarily dog food, dry dog food. We go through that like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take a minute and also tell you that when we're done with the Bissell event, our next is going to be a doggy day out program where people can come and take a dog for the afternoon, and we put them in a doggy vest, and we ask people to take them out and do their errands and get them a pup cup at Dairy Queen, and then bring them back at the end of the day, and it gets them out of the shelter, and it also gets them out in the community where people can see them. And we ask them to post pictures on social media of their outing, and it just, it's a win-win. It gets the dog out and it gets them more exposure. And, maybe you like the dog and want to adopt it. You don't have to. You can just take them out and bring them back.
That's right. You know, that's almost like emotional blackmail. Can you take a dog?
See, Robert gets it.
They're taking them home. I mean, that's a rite of passage.
Well,
that's a great idea, though.
We had a group of school kids that came out a couple of weeks ago to read to our animals. Summer school program. There wasn't a lot of reading that got done. There was a lot of snuggling, but but we told the kids about the program, and that's our target audience, because when you go home and I really want a dog, you can't have a dog, but I really want a dog. Well, you can have a dog for a day and bring the dog back. There's no pressure to adopt a dog, but get them out of the shelter where, we have dogs that have been there a long time and they experience kennel decline. And that's a very ugly thing to watch. So, the more we can get them out in the community, the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely. And Chris, John, I'm gonna do a little emotional blackmail here too. We've met a cute, amazing, and she's a hound mix. She's just as friendly. Her name is Fern, and she is the sweetest puppy dog. I actually got to play with her a little bit. She's just as good-natured as she can be. She would probably fit in really well. Just saying.
Robert, are you saying you want us to deprive another family of the opportunity for their lives to be transformed?
No,
only an Irishman is that. That's brilliant.
You should feel terrible.
I'm just trying here now. Come on. Fran was the first pup dog that we had on here. That, she's been there for what, 2 years?
She's been there the longest of any dogs we have. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's a long time. And and they take care of her, and she's going to have a home for now, but she needs a forever home.
Now, she was out a couple of weeks ago. Someone I know came by and said, "Who's been there the longest? I want to take her out today." And so she took her out. They went to Ace Hardware and did some errands, and she did get to go to Dairy Queen. And, she had a big time. It was a good day.
All right.
Chris is already showing me pictures of Fern on her phone. I mean,
good job. There we go.
Terrible idea.
She's a cutie. Oh, she's perfect.
She came
go to
to
the
play.
website. You can see her playing with me and everything. She only weighs about 50 pounds.
All right, Carol, we may have to come visit.
Chris came to play.
Well, my son now flies for Delta, and he's up in Atlanta, so I might have to drive up there and bring her.
You're welcome anytime.
So this time around, Molly gets to choose a friend since Bo gets along with everyone.
There you
So
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
Molly.
goodness.
Miss
It's gonna be
Stephanie?
I can
Yes.
tell you from experience, I have 6 dogs now, and after you go over 3, there's really no difference. Just keep on going.
It's kind of like kids.
Yes.
I went by over there, and I'm a cat person, and you're a cat person, and Miss Stephanie, and I'm going to tell you,
I already have one more than you.
that's okay. That's okay. I'm at my limit.
Step up, Robert.
Huh?
Step up.
Look, I'm scared of my wife.
Well, I told the staff we're done taking in kittens. We planned to take in several litters that we had some kittens pass last year. It wasn't good. They were very young, and one gets sick and then they all get sick. And so we have a new protocol for when the kittens come in. A lot of medical stuff. We're copying the model from a place over in Dothan that is just the gold standard for medical care. And so between that and we actually asked the people who, they said, we have this litter of kittens. We said, keep them until this certain age. We're going to send you home with wormer. Don't bring them in until this date. And as soon as they come in, they get their shots. And so we're really being very proactive about keeping everybody healthy. But I told the girls, okay, we're at 19 now. We need to stop. Well, today we have 21. We had one that someone came in and just begged us to take it. It had dropped out of the bottom of their car as they pulled into a parking lot.
Oh my God, that's what happened with Agnes.
Yeah.
Goodness. Oh wow.
And, it's only probably about 6 weeks old, and I said, well, I have no words. So what are you going to do? So
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go, right there, Miss Stephanie.
Yes.
This kid here that fell off front of the car already has a way to bond with Agnes. This is perfect.
They're going to share car engine stories.
So you heard how I worded that. It's perfect.
Uh-huh. Yes, but I'm her personal cat tree, you see, because as tiny as she is, you would think that she would love to be snuggled, but no, she really doesn't. She protests and squeaks about that and would instead rather climb on my shoulders or jump up to my shoulders when I'm standing on the floor. I'm only 5'4", but this little girl has springs in her feet.
Wow.
Sprung.
They all definitely have a big personality. I look at all the animals we have in the shelter, and I had shared with, I think, a couple of you, I've hired some new staff members. We have 4 new staff members, and some of the old staff went on to other jobs. And the staff that I have now, I just couldn't be prouder of them. They have such a tender heart for these animals. It's just overwhelming. There is so much love in our building. And, if anybody looks a little down or looks a little sick or looks a little lonely, they are just all over it. So, if you're an animal, you couldn't ask for a better place to be than with us right now.
Well, this is my podcast, Kitty.
Oh. Wow. Look how pretty.
She just hangs out in here. And that, but everybody needs a kitty cat. Everybody. Dave.
Yeah, let's
Just called you
build
out.
on Dave for a while, shall we? Yeah.
Yeah. Dave doesn't have any kitty cats. All the rest of us do. Don't you feel left out, Dave?
Well, as an elder person, I may not have heard what you just said. My hearing is maybe going or something. I don't know.
I knew he was going to pull the elder card.
Oh, yeah, he's got to put that over the card now that he's got it. But now that he's got it, he's never getting rid of it.
That's right. I've got you around. That's right.
That's right. Well, everybody, we hope that y'all have enjoyed our show. We hope that you know, and I'm going to repeat this: Miller County, Early County, Seminole County, Doherty County, y'all, Decatur County, y'all get on the ball. I mean, why would you go spend hundreds of dollars on pets when there's,
Well,
you
you could
know,
have
next
this.
week $50 for your pick? And my goodness, these pets, they've worked with them. Like Fern, they've already worked on getting her leash trained. They've worked on her, you know, being crate trained, using a doggy door. I mean, they're training these pets and animals to go home with you, and you're not going to beat the price. You're not going to beat the care that's given to them, and give these guys a home. They're in dire need of one, and if you can't do that, donate.
If I may,
Yeah,
they're also incredibly precise because they're so attentive to the animals in their descriptions of the animals. And so when they actually screen applications, and if they think that there's somebody that is a better fit for another animal, they're really good at kind of targeting and matching too.
Yes, thank you. I was going to point out that we actually do a vet reference check on everybody that's applying for an animal, and we have turned some people down. Not tons, but we have turned a few down that a glowing recommendation from the vet when we called, and that you know that doesn't sit well with some people, but that's okay. We definitely want the animals to go to the best home, the right home. We have it's a Siamese kitten that was stuck in somebody's Mustang. They weren't driving it. It was sitting in their yard for a few days. They heard yelling in there and finally got it out. And it's a little Siamese kitten. It's gorgeous. We have had more people tell us that they want that cat. They want to put dibs on it, put money down. It's not old enough to go yet. And we had to explain that it's not the first person who walks in and says they want it. It's definitely going to be the right fit for that animal, and that's what we go by.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. When I saw that Siamese kitten, I wanted to take it home.
Yeah, we named her Shelby after Shelby Mustang.
Oh,
it's a perfect name, Shelby.
Oh my God, you're going to make Catherine cry, Carol.
Well, my little one-eyed orange cat, when I first got him, when he first came running to us, and we was taking him home and taking him to get some food for him, and my wife said, I told her, I said, you know, I've bonded with him already. He's our cat, you know, and she said, well, what are we going to name him? I said, because he hadn't grown into his ears or his tail. He's just a little bitty thing. And I said, we're going to name him Dumbo. Look at the size of his ears. She said, I don't like that name. She said, he needs an awesome name. I said, fine. We named him Chuck Norris. You should have seen, we go to the vet to get this little guy. What's his name? Chuck Norris.
that's awesome.
Most awesome name I could think of. Miss Carol, do you have anything else you want to bring out, or Miss Stephanie, or Miss Chris and John? Y'all have anything else y'all want to hit on before we call it a show?
I would just like to personally thank Carol for taking a chance on me.
I have to admit, I hung up from talking to you, and I told my husband, there's some lady who wants to drive from Pennsylvania to get a black cat. And he said, what, I don't have any black cats in Pennsylvania? And I said, you know, I get that. You know, I just get that. You just have a feeling about it, and
when you know, you know.
You know.
That's right.
So it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine our family without Molly, and that's all thanks to ARA, and we're just in awe of all that they do for our communities, and we love them, and we will support them in every single way that we can.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Actually, full disclaimer, these are some of our biggest donors, very, very supportive, very regular donors, and it's such a blessing because, you know, I'll look at coming in, and I oh, okay, God, how am I going to do this? And boom, there comes a donation from one of these guys. And it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget about Mary's letter.
Oh,
Oh.
yes. We got to do Mary's letter. I've
Yeah.
got it pulled up right here. This was Mary C. I don't know her last name. She just put, oh, there it is. Chapella?
Yes.
I said it right. Okay, good. She said, hi, Rob. Carol Williams from ARA emailed me about reaching out to you regarding how I came to adopt 2 dogs from the animal shelter in Georgia when I live in Indiana. All because of social media. I was following a woman on Twitter, now X, who has a lot of pets on her farm. She offers fosters. She volunteered at ARA and posted pics. I was impressed with how clean the facility is, and it caught my attention. I live in a smaller city, but nonetheless, it is urban, and the local Humane Society gets plenty of contributions. The woman I followed asked for contributions for ARA, and many of us complied. It occurred to me that a rural animal shelter may really need help, and especially in an area that seems prevalent that people just dump animals. I make it a point to help when I can with either cash or food. So I started to follow ARA on Twitter as well. One day I saw a pic ARA posted of an adorable dog found on the side of the road there in Georgia. I fell in love with her at first sight. I contacted ARA and they had me fill out an application. The woman who I originally followed and another volunteer from ARA brought the dog to Atlanta, which saved me several hours of driving. In October, ARA posted a daily pic of one of their dogs / cats dressed in a Halloween costume, along with a description of that animal and its personality. The pics were adorable. One day, I saw a male dog dressed as a cow with the goofiest grin on his face. I looked at his face and I knew he was my dog. ARA arranged a transport with someone who was traveling to northern Indiana, and I was able to meet this woman a couple hours east of here to get my dog. I love ARA. Carol is warm and kind. She always reaches out with a personal thank you for any contribution I make. I hope your podcast can bring awareness to many others who can help their cause. And that was Mary Chapella. Yeah, that's Indiana. That's a long way.
Yes. She got a gorgeous dog too.
Yes.
Dog.
She didn't send me a picture.
And I have to tell you that she has a history of I think that a cat that she brought it back from Jamaica when she went on vacation.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what kind of paperwork she had to do to make
And I don't think that's the only cat that she brought back from Jamaica. I think she actually has 2 from 2 different trips.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think I'm allowed to get another cat unless we go to Key West to get a 9-toed one.
Yeah.
So, but if I do get another cat, I'm coming to see you, Miss Carol.
Well, I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I just say thank you for the attention that you're giving our shelter in the spotlight. It's just, that's how we survive, and that's how our animals find homes, and it's important. And I really appreciate you for helping.
Well, we and Dave appreciate helping too, and I'm right here local to you. Anytime you have something special coming up, let me know. We'll put it right up here. We'll try to get the word out as quickly as possible.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's our honor. I mean, it's our privilege to give back a little bit. So, all right. Well, if y'all hang around a little bit, I'm going to close us out. And thank y'all so much for being a part of our show. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, but hang around a little bit. Don't run off yet.
Making the funny motions.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show.